Do you want mashed potatoes or baked potatoes tonight for dinner?
They are cooked right. Baked is fine. If they are cooked right, baked is fine.
How about you, Aunt Lance? What kind do you want?
Baked is better. Baked
Okay.
is better.
Okay, we'll have some baked potatoes.
Every time leaving the house, but it is nothing like them. As I wrote, we aren't going to understand how they feel when they walk outside the house. I would say I understand somewhat about that because I am judged every time leaving their house, but it is nothing like them.
Yeah, it's not the same. And you said that to her or somebody, they would get very offended by that. Like, that's the line that
Well,
I feel like I'm always
everybody
careful with my choice of words.
takes
I don't want to offend her because I don't know.
O
You know what I mean?
F offense. Right. Now, even if you are careful, well, everybody takes offense right now, even if you are careful.
No, I mean impaired.
Right.
A teacher, unless they say,
Do you feel like people
Do
judge
you?
you
here,
by being about being
Here.
mentally impaired just because you use a communication device?
name. I try to be a teacher unless they say, did you hear your name?
I'm a child, and I'm like I graduated university with honors. They talk to me like I'm a child, and I'm like I graduated university with honors.
Exactly.
Somehow,
Does Bob Conti talk to you really loud?
I was wrong. Saying something about you. J-U-D. Judge. Judged me. I try to be a teacher unless they say, did you hear your name? And then somehow I was wrong saying something about you judged me.
Yeah. That was kind of funny.
They use
Yeah,
the
she scolded.
word dumb to describe a non-speaking person, and I just think it's a coincidence that people use it as a synonym for stupid. They used to use the word dumb to describe a non-speaking person, and I don't think it's a coincidence that people use it as a synonym for stupid.
Did you offend her?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was already hot about something, so I don't know what exactly I said. I think it was, you don't have to talk to me like I am too.
And then she got all mad at him and said he was in the wrong.
Yeah.
She's like, why are you talking to me so rudely? And then she looks at me and she's like,
You don't
tell him not to talk so rudely.
J. You
That was the worst.
judge
You told him.
me. You don't have to judge me.
Yeah,
She
he said you don't have to judge me. Or no, she said that.
said
She's like,
to
well, why are you making such
me.
judgments about what I'm
You
saying?
don't have to judge me, she said to me.
That's what you just said.
I would have
Have you seen her
said
since?
No.
you don't have to be such a dumb ass. I would have said you don't have to be such a dumb ass.
It was
It didn't go well.
like
But again, it was a lesson for her. You know what I mean? Like, hopefully.
calling.
But she just kept talking to him like he was a child. Like,
Mm-hmm.
why are you talking to somebody
Other.
like that? You shouldn't talk to somebody. You should
Person.
know better. And you're being very judgmental
That.
of me. Because how do you know what I'm thinking? Because you said it.
J. U. D. Judge. Judged. She judged me. First. She judged me first.
Yeah.
And that is our point. Deanne and I are saying language development is what we should be looking at, but it isn't what AAC is about right now.
Zook's editing this.
And I had to get another device. You were. I was losing. Lost because it had vocabulary all over, but it wasn't core. Exactly. So I spelled everything, which was slower and frustrated me. I had to make my sentences shorter, which I didn't like. So when I met Bruce and we started talking, I was like Yes. Is what I have been saying to everybody, but I didn't know the TERM core vocabulary. It is so important because it is the vocabulary you are using all the anytime time. My first device was a hand-to-voice 110. I was 6. This was 1979, when we didn't know about core vocabulary. However, it had core vocabulary on it. So when the hand-to-voice 110 broke, and I had to get another device, I was lost because it had vocabulary all over, but it wasn't core exactly. So I spelled everything, which was slower and frustrated me. I had to make my sentences shorter, which I didn't like. So when I met Bruce, and we started talking, I was like, this is what I have been saying to everybody. But I didn't know the term core vocabulary. It is so important because it is the vocabulary you are using all the time.
Okay. Chris is going to talk about a social prejudice. Following up on Bruce's clip.
You know, it's almost
All right.
every day that I ENCO encounter something like that. Somebody talks to me loudly and slowly. Yes. Almost every day. However, I was writing out from my house to your my parents. VOCOTT cottage. And I have done this a lot. But I guess somebody called the police, and the police stopped me on the way out there. I said where I was going and went on my way. And then equals sign, plus sign. They stopped me again, asking where I was coming from. So that happens a lot. You know, it's almost every day that I encounter something like that. Somebody talks to me loudly and slowly almost every day. However, I was riding out from my house to my parents' cottage, and I have done this a lot, but I guess somebody called the police, and the police stopped me on the way out there. I said where I was going and went on my way, and then they stopped me again asking where I was coming from, so that happens a lot. I said chicken, vagina, vaginas. I said chicken vaginas. I said chicken vaginas. I said chicken vaginas.
Okay, so as you all know, when you hit a Minspeak sequence, it's in a category. And so Chris got the first part of the category correct. But the second part, it was supposed to be chicken breasts, not chicken vaginas. So if you have an AAC blooper, we'd love to hear it. Thank you. How were the pierogies? That's what I want to know.
They were really good and awesome. And I am trying to decide if I want to start something. They were really good and awesome, and I am trying to decide if I want to start something.
Like what? A discussion. Yeah, discuss. Let's hear it.
You want me to take this?
So, I believe I did like about 40% sign of that. I do believe that we need to close down the churches, and temples, because where people meet God. Three, Z. So I did like about 40% of that. I do believe that we need to close down the churches and temples, because really that is not where people meet God. I also think we have a God full of love and Merc, mercy, and he wants us to come to him so that he can give us that love and MER, mercy. So, for me, it is important to be in the Word of and talking to God every day and listening to him who is inside of you. I also think we have a God full of love and mercy, and he wants us to come to him so that he can give us that love and mercy. So for me, it is important to be in the Word and talking to God every day and listening to him who is inside of you.
I had been thinking about why people go to church and it doesn't make sense to me. I have been thinking about why people go to church and it doesn't make sense to me. If God is present everywhere, all the time, then why does it? Do I need to go to a certain building on a certain day and time? Why can't I just talk to him whenever and on a certain day and time, why can't I just talk to him whenever and wherever?
I love that. CHO. Statement. Because really, I believe my calling is not to go sit in a church and listen to what somebody else thinks about who God is. Although I know I do that myself, and I am trying to get our church to shut its doors and go find people that are really in need and just meet them where they are at. That is what Jesus did. I love this statement because really I believe my calling is not to go sit in a church and listen to what somebody else thinks about who God is, although I know I do that myself. And I am trying to get our church to shut its doors and go find people that are really in need and just meet them where they are. That is what Jesus did.
I'm going to sound very cynical, but I think organized religion is nothing more than a money-making racket. I'm going to sound very cynical, but I think organized religion is nothing more than a money-making racket. I remember I went to a church and the preacher would regularly talk about tithing, and I'm sitting there not knowing if I'll have a place to live of what little I had. I figured he needed a new car or something. I remember I went to a church and the preacher would regularly talk about tithing, and I'm sitting there not knowing if I'll have a place to live the next month, and he wants 10% of what little I have. I figured he needed a new car or something.
And that is the point. I know our church, DENOM, denomination, needs churches, to pay their church FWE. So that they can support their 60 million BUDG budget to keep the DE denomination running. And that is just crazy to me. And that is the point. I know our church denomination needs churches to pay their church fees so that they can support their 60 million budget to keep the denomination running. And that is just crazy to me.
There are places of in South America where there are huge cathedrals surrounded by slums, and I think that's obscene wickedness. There are places in South America where there are huge cathedrals surrounded by slums, and I think that's obscene wickedness.
Obscene wickedness. Okay, we're gonna wrap this up, and Zook will put it online for Chris and Lance to access, and we'll get their approval before anyone else gets a link.